Podcast. No limit to what we do.
Janelle, celebrity vocal coach right here, and I am a part of Give It Life.
And ratchet,
And real extra ratchet, raunchy.
That'll be everywhere, like.
Who got coming up? Those shops is upstairs, but we down here by our house, man. This nigga got hit to walk off the set. We leave that up to Vito.
Up and out the river, sip it up. Your nurse send me, I back it up. Make your hips swing, lean and up. Till you lose your head, then you join the walk. Heard ya, girls here get it in. Till your phone start ring, ding, 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 ding. And I been my way to him. Zim, zim, my boyfriend killer, oh yeah. Shim, I got the night simmering. And see me in a style and never see you win. Beep, beep, we on the way and we're glimmering. Wet like a swimmer, dripping, oh yeah. I got him, I know. I got him, I don't give a fuck. I got him, I know. I got him, I know. We open up on my foot, same time. Me no want no me time. Tell you got for chillin' in the meantime. Come and feel like but one pop it on you like me pop a rubber band. Body like a bag of money to me rubber band. You love me body, slap up, you love me body, wine like a happy hour. Boyfriend killer. I just can't say goodbye to you.
Benz on your foot, me a pull up. Cologne sweet, similar to the syrup. Girl, come and me put on a fuck. Tie on your pussy for down, but fuck. Alright, in the Benz with she. She said she want weed, we go kiki, girl. Put on by your knee. Said she have money, but she still a thief piece. You know you're telling me a beach on wine from the Jeep and your friend for your threesome. Your good pussy have the cheese bro. Are you alone, my call when me need some, yeah. Wine from the coastline. For the boom killer. Wine like a go-go. For the boom killer.
Pull up on my foot, same time. Me no want no me time. Tell you got for chillin' in the meantime. Come and feel like but one pop it on you like me pop a rubber band. Body like a bag of money to me rubber band. You love me body, slap up, you love me body,
Hey everybody. So different from last week when I was like pumped up there. So today I'm gonna get right into it. Oh my gosh, today. I don't know. So here's my thing. I guess this is more of like a listening thing and some information because I had a whole different show today and then I changed my mind because of something that I saw on Instagram. And I just have to talk about it. And it's a little bit deeper than what we usually talk about. It's like way deeper than what we usually talk about. So I don't know. Like I think this is just something that we can replay. People can send to people. If you're just listening, it's just what's bothering me. I'm just going to go ahead and say what I saw. I was just scrolling through Instagram because a lot of times before the show, I'll scroll through Instagram and see what people are talking about and maybe we'll talk about it and so forth. But I came across this one Instagram today and it was a replay of a live of a guy. And it was about, I would say about 7 minutes long, or whatever the case may be. Hey, Brody. So here's the thing. He had just shot his baby mother, and he was just talking about everything. And he was like, I can't kill myself, but I want to die. So I'm getting ready to shoot at the police so they can kill me, because I just want to kill myself. And he was like, I just need somebody to come get my son first. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, seriously, this was live, live. And then I started looking up the statistics of what's going on, because this is crazy. There was a time where we used to say, and I'm just going to put the stereotype out there, when we used to watch these things, it used to be like, yo, that's some white shit. And that's what we used to say. We definitely used to say this. I guarantee you about 10 years ago, if you heard somebody doing something crazy, like, hey, I'm going to shoot myself or come get the kids or kill my girlfriend, all this other stuff, you'd be like, oh, that's some white shit. We don't know nothing about it. They killing themselves, they're killing the wife, they're killing the girlfriend, they're doing all that. Black people don't do that. So I'm looking up the statistics, because more and more and more, as you turn on the news, you're hearing this. And especially in men. So I just looked this up to make sure that I was giving y'all some right statistics. I looked it up in a couple of entities. Literally, there are more male, we're going to just talk about black people, if you want to call them black, brown, African American, whatever the hell you want to say, okay? We're talking about us. It's more men who are killing themselves, committing suicide, than women. That number is higher. Over the past 3 years, we have increased in numbers. We're quite not at the numbers as our Caucasian partners, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So the overall rate of suicide, we're at, basically, we're coming from like 20%, and we're moving all the way up to about 45%. We're almost half there. Actually, it's getting the new numbers have us like at 51%. And that's very high for us. And I just want you to think about it. Now, if we're talking in the black community, it's more males than females. So it's the pressures. And I was listening to what he was saying about everything. And he just said he couldn't take anymore. So here's the craziest thing. He said that the baby had good grandparents, so that he didn't want his son to die. But he killed the baby's mother. And he literally just looked out the window, showed us on the phone that he had already killed her. She was outside. He killed her outside. He said, oh, she dead. She's laying in the ground over there. I just need somebody to come pick up my son. And there's a couple of videos, like, unfortunately, there's a couple of people, men, who are doing this. And so I'm kind of just speaking on the overall mental health of men. And we need to start recognizing there's a problem. It's not coming out of the blue. It's not like these men are waking up and they're crazy. That's not it. I think that it's manifest different in men. I feel like, I'm going to step out and say, this is me personally saying this, that, so you know how when you're dating somebody and black men will say women are so hostile, or they're so, black women are so mean or hostile, they're this. I think that we manifest our aggravation differently. So it comes out with the attitude and the craziness. But see, when we do it, it's considered crazy. And some men say, oh, I like it like that. Like, we blow up cars, we cut stuff, we fight, we'll throw stuff, we'll do all kind of crazy stuff in that sense. But, that's dysfunctional. That's an issue. That's not normal. But for us, it is, because it's been looked at as the black woman doing that. She's just having the issue, or she's having an episode, or if it's a breakup, she just, bugging out for a minute. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, the men don't handle it that way. They not cutting cars and blowing up cars. They killing their girlfriends and themselves, along with the other pressures. He was just saying he can't take it no more. He can't take the relationship stuff anymore. He couldn't take the job, the bill, all of it. But the relationship stuff is really what he couldn't take. And it's crazy. I shouldn't use the word crazy, but it's baffling to me. What's up? It's baffling to me how, if you were listening to him, it's wild to me. It's the relationship stuff that women go through all the time, but men is starting to get to them. this whole thing, like when you think that you're with somebody and everything is perfect and it's not, or they're breaking up and doing it, and then they're exploding. Also, what's on the rise is we're seeing all these celebrity breakups, a lot of divorces going on right now. So it's interesting to me. This mental healthness from the mental healthness for men is on the rise. It's an issue. Divorces are happening, and I'm trying to tell you guys, stemming around relationships, this new era of how we're looking at relationships, I don't think it's healthy for us. How we're looking at relationships in the way like we're pretending. There's a lot of pretending going on that things are not bothering us. That there's a lot of people that are sitting there and saying like, oh, I don't mind him sleeping with this one, or I don't mind her, I don't care because I really don't love her that way. And there's a lot of faking going on. I think we need to stop. And it's escalating, and it's the real feelings are being hidden. And after it gets snowballed and a whole bunch of stuff, people are snapping. And I really think that we need to start stepping back and really looking at some of the things that we can say, because we promote a lot of open relationships, non-monogamous relationships. And I'm not saying that they don't work, but what I'm saying is people are making it look glorified, like it's easy, and it's not for everybody. So I don't think people are being honest with themselves, and they're participating in relationships and dynamics that they really don't want to be in, and it's getting to them. Hey, everybody. Hi, Tyrone. Love to hear you and your opinion on this, because I know that you have some different dynamics. And I just feel like it's not for everyone. But because especially if you listen to the young people, they're putting this narrative out like, oh, it's normal, it's okay. I'm listening to women like it don't matter because men are doing it. I can do it too. I can date whoever. I can fuck them and leave them, and it don't make any difference. And that's not the case. And then what's happening is when women are doing this attitude, we're playing a dangerous game. Men are not really liking it. They're acting like they don't care, but they do care. Because the rate of men killing their girlfriends and wives is just climbing. It is climbing. It is super climbing. They're like, well, if this relationship is not working the way it's supposed to be, if it's not working out the way it's supposed to do, then you don't need to be here and I don't need to be here. And they're not caring about having children. Some are killing the children. Some are leaving the children. A lot of the men, I'm talking about black men. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the suicide rates for white men. We're talking about black men are on the rise. A lot of times, they're leaving the kids. They're arranging for the kids to be with somebody, or they leave them in the house with some water, some food, till somebody finds them. But a lot of them are doing it on live. Like they are literally filming this on live, so you can see them kill themselves and whoever they're with. I mean, something has to be done, and everybody's just ignoring it. It's scary. It's really scary when you think about it. Are you getting into a relationship? Now you have to really start looking at the mental stability of the person that you're getting in a relationship with. And the craziest thing, when this guy was talking, he looked just as normal. He wasn't talking crazy. He was talking calm. He was just like, yo, I'm sorry. I just had to kill her, and I'm going to just kill myself. This is the last time you're going to hear me talking. That's how he was talking. And he's like, this, and wow. And then I was just reading, of course, everybody heard about the stuff with Ray J, how he put out his little thing. So, some people said, he just did that for attention. But, attention sometimes is a cry for help, too. So if he really feels that way, but we feel that way because he's a star, and we see him out here doing his buffoonery, that it can't be serious. That's what we're making our mistake. This is what I'm talking about. Because he's acting like he's built like that, but maybe he's not. Maybe all these random women and all this other stuff, that's not fulfilling him. And he's really, depressed inside and all this stuff. So that shit is real. And then you got Brandy that just went into the hospital because she's probably so damn worried. She has her own issues, but so damn worried about her brother. It is affecting us. And we need to start looking at it more carefully. And we need to start recognizing it. Because the numbers I was looking at, hold on, let me look at this. The high suicide rate in men are between 26 and 45. 26 and 45. That's relationship time. Kids, marriage, girlfriend. That's what that is. That's all that time. I don't know. As there's so much on the plate right now that I think that we have set up on both sides impossible standards to live up to. People want damn near perfect relationships. And I cannot for the life of me understand where the fuck did y'all get this idea of this Cinderella complex that's going on, that relationships are perfect. Like, it's literally like now, if this shit is not working out perfect for me, I'm dumping it and then I'm going to the next person. And people are just going and going and going. They're not working on what they have at all. Then they want them to look a certain way. They want them to spend a certain amount of money. They want them to make a certain amount of money. They are putting a lot of pressure. So the men who are there, they're putting a lot of pressure. Then the ones that can't afford it, then women are angry because they have multiple relationships. But again, when we see somebody with multiple relationships, I'm not saying this is everyone, but that does not mean that's a happy person. And we're not looking at that. Because what is the issue? A lot of times, there are some people who can have their multiple relationships and they're in them and they understand the dynamics of it. Hold on, let me read this. Men have been programmed over some time now to be more disconnected with life and values of life. And this is leading to the issue. Quitting is promoted. This is what I'm saying. You're so right. This is what I'm saying. Today is a little bit heavy. Today is not like, my fun self. I was so disturbed by that video. So disturbed. Because it's not the first one that I've seen. In the last couple of months, that's like the fourth one that I've seen, that the person killed himself and the girlfriend on live. And there's many more without being on live. And it's disturbing me because these are males and they are saying they can't take it. It's insane what's going on and no one's talking about it. And I just feel like we're on these social media things and we're promoting these perfect relationships or acting like these standards. They're complete. The women are saying, I can't deal with you unless you do all of this. And then the men are like, you need to look like this. And no one's getting together and having real relationships and foundations. And it's really driving me crazy because some of the standards are absolutely impossible for some of the men. I mean, if you're in them. And it's like now women want to do a tit for tat where when you make a mistake or something like that, we're not talking through it. It's like, well, they're cheating too. And that's the other thing too. I think women are cheating now at a rate that's different. That they're bold about it. Well, I'll fuck your friend. Like what? Let me see. And more mental health issues are arising as we are all as we get all these things injected in our foods and bodies. Yes, this is what I'm saying. This is why today I just want to talk about something different. Like I'm just so disturbed. And men are too dependent on women. I mean, it's interesting. They act like they're not dependent on women. They act like it doesn't affect. If you talk to men right now, they act like they're not depending on women. I love you for saying that, Tyrone, because they act like they're not depending on women. They act like it doesn't affect them when they're not with a woman. But clearly, statistics are showing something different. Clearly, behind doors, different shit is happening. They act like it doesn't matter. They act like what she does doesn't matter. But along with that, I want to say, as women too, we have a responsibility too, because at that same thing, I'm going to talk about what we don't talk about, the trickery of men. Let's really get to it. How many men are raising a baby that they thought that was theirs? Let's ponder on that. Let's take a moment of silence for that one. Because let's talk some truth. Women, there are a lot of women. And I'm stereotyping it and I'm saying it. I don't have all the numbers, but you know it. We know friends, we know this, and we know it. There is a lot of women who put fatherhood onto another man, and then later on he finds out that's not his baby. Do you know how mentally fucked up that is? Think about it. You really got to really think about it because it's going on. It's going on a lot. Hold on. When you do something of that nature, the connection must have felt like ownership. Wow. You talk today. Yes. I'm trying to tell you something. Because we don't talk about that. That's part of the problem. We don't talk about this part. That kills a man. Absolutely. But I'm trying to say we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the women who pretend that's your baby. The women who don't know who the baby is and don't say shit and then finds out later. And the man is, just think about that. Just think about that. You raise a baby for 2 years and then find out it's not yours. I'm gonna say right now, I have a daughter. She made the shade room, okay? She made, not my daughter, her friend made the shade room because she was dealing with high profile men. Baby shower, decked out, name brand, everything, all of that. After the baby's born a year later, they come to find out that's not the baby father. The real baby father, she has to contact him. He another, high profile person. So now the two of them are getting married and now having a baby. But that man's whole entire family, like if you knew them personally, you didn't see it on TV, but if you knew them personally, was broke down. The grandmother, the sister, the uncle, because they adored this baby. Can you imagine raising a baby for a year and that's your son? You think it's your son, your family's involved, gifts, everything, and then just boom. Well, we don't get prosecuted for that. Women do not get prosecuted for that. They don't go to jail for that. That's why most men refuse to wife promiscuous women. I'm just trying to tell you something. But you'll be surprised, even if they're not promiscuous, it's happening. Some women are getting caught, some women are not. Because here's the thing. The craziest thing on that part, you have to think how this mentally fucks up a man when he finds this out. Because all your money that you spent, you don't get it back. All your connection with the child, what happens to that? You thought you had a child and it gets wiped out. Then the woman doesn't go to jail for that. That is not an illegal thing to do. You do not go to jail for no matter how many years you trick somebody into their baby. How much money they paid for, they don't get that back. In fact, it is almost damn near impossible if you're on child support, and even if you prove it is not your baby, it is hard as hell. You need some money and some lawyers to stop paying child support, even when you prove that it's not your baby. How about that? Now imagine you find this out and then you meet somebody that you want to have a baby with, but your funds is being taken out of your check and you fighting that. You sound crazy. And your money sounds crazy. You as a person never forget that experience. That's my point. But what's the damage? Because now this man is damaged. He's mentally damaged too. Because psychologically, I want you to think, mothers out there, when you're listening to this, imagine if someone told you the baby that you raised up to 2 or 3 was not your baby, and then they just take it away. You'd be like, wait a minute, that's my baby. Child support is out of order. It's a hard thing to say. We can have a whole discussion on child support. I'll dip into it a little bit. To me, it's 50-50 because sometimes it's needed because some people who real paternity, they don't pay. But then it's fucked up when some of the things that go on when it isn't your child and you find out and you still got to pay child support. I don't agree with that, but it happens. So I'm going to tell the truth on here. It's really fucked up. I'm not, you know me. If a woman's doing something wrong, I'm not going to just support it. It's messed up. But the point is, I'm thinking about the mental damage. Now, how is he going to another relationship? Let's think about that. If you were tricked in a relationship with this situation, when you go into the next relationship, you think he's whole? Do you think that there's no hurt and there's no damage? Ladies, there's hurt and there's damage, and we go about our business. But what do we leave that man with? And then he gets into another relationship, he has trust issues, different things, or he can just be fucked up. It can be fucked up. I know someone else too that married someone. The girl gets divorced. She had a baby, tells him that's not really his baby, gets divorced, it wasn't his baby, marries the real baby father afterwards. excuse me, and he never was the same afterwards. I personally know somebody like that. There was no point to where that man fall to, where that man were fall to. Okay, the difficulty will fall out of the next woman who says she's pregnant. Absolutely. But yeah, but look at what she's looking at. So you made her pregnancy hard, and he has trust issues. I'm just saying some of the things that men are like dealing with that we don't talk about. I mean, and then women cheat too. We don't talk about how much they cheat. They do. I mean, we just don't get caught as easy. I mean, we all joke around with it, but they cheat as much as men. The idea of child support is great. The way the kill a man to get it right. Okay. Payment size or fixing a wrong. They treat all fathers like shit, good or bad. Okay, I get what you're saying, Tyrone. Let me fix it. Okay, so the payments are, I get what you're saying, the payments, and good or bad, they treat everybody the same. You're right. Unfortunately, you know what happens when you have a whole system? It cannot even be done fair. So, you know, there's just like a standard, and then they just go from there. And you're right. It's messed up when some things are wrong. But the problem is, there are some cases, and there are quite a few cases, where men don't pay, and they need to pay, and they don't pay. Like, it's crazy enough. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a whole thing on child support because it's very interesting because there's a lot of different ways that men see it and women see it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I think next week I'm gonna get some men up here. I'm gonna get some women up here, some who have child support, who have paid it, different ways that it's done. I think I'm definitely gonna do that. But child support is an issue too. I think just getting a job. I just think the standards that women have right now. So what's happening with that too, which I'm going to say is acting towards mental healthness and mental health. Tongue-tied. So sorry, tongue-tied. Mental healthness and dating also has to do with. Let's just talk about work. What's happening now is right now men still make more money than women do. However, there are more women than there are men, so there are more women working than men in that sense. So it doesn't balance out. So what happens is men still get paid top dollar, but women go to college more and they come out and they're getting more jobs and there's more women. So they're getting more jobs. So less men have the type of money that women are asking for. So here's where it gets uneven. Women these days are very hung up on how much men make. And they're like, okay, I'm not dating this man unless he makes this money because that thing's broke. So I'm just imagining being a man, if I'm a good man, and I make $65,000 because I'm going to tell you right now that, and that's actually pretty good because the average person is making now about $43,000 is the average person, $43,000. So when I'm saying 65, that's above, okay, what the average is. Great show. Thank you. That is above what the average is. But when you say $65,000 right now, you got to see women's faces. What? He only making 65? I can't date him. He broke. Can you imagine being a man and you making $65,000 a year? You have somewhere to live. You're a kind man. You're good. You know, you nice, good looking. You packing nicely. Sex good. And you still getting told you garbage because you making $65,000. You're above average. But you've been told, you got women looking at you like, that's all you make. What the fuck? Like, I'm just saying, mentally that shit has to be fucked up. It gotta be. I'm just put yourself in their shoes. And we're wondering why mental issue with men, suicide is going up with black men. Because not only is society telling them they're not good enough, now their own black women are turning around, scrunching up their face, talking about you ain't good enough and you making $65,000. You would think $65,000 is the poor man, like the way that they go on. I promise you. I promise you, if you go say it, they'd be like this. What? Ew, no, I can't take him. This is some bullshit. Hold on. Yeah, I can because we forgot what we came from, like Jay-Z said. Absolutely. Because honestly, someone making $65,000 living inside their means can be a nice life. Because my point is this: if you take his 65 and you take your 65, guess what, people? How much is that? 140. Why can't you live nice? You can still go out. You can still get a few, designer things. You can still go out and have a decent car. And you can even save up and have a really nice car and one decent one. One great on gas for y'all to drive around to do like local stuff, and another car that is your good car that goes around. That's what we used to do back in the days. Remember when a family had 2 cars? And the good car, Dad used to bring out the good car on Saturday and stuff. Why we have to have 2 good cars? Like, can't we have one like a little Toyota or a little Nissan that's good on gas to drive around and just kill, you know what I'm saying? And then the other car. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Just know they're not for you and moving along. I know what you're saying, that they're not for you and stuff, but the problem is, can you imagine if you're a nice guy and you try to ask somebody out and that's how they act? That's all I'm saying. It's fucking up our men's heads. There's a lot of things fucking up their head. Hold on. You hit it there. The team makes the dream work. This is what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is, ladies, everybody's not going to be a 6-figure man. And then on top of it, the ones that are even above 6 figures or really high 6 figures, like making $300,000 a year and stuff, they're looking for certain type of women. I'm going to tell you that right now. Unless they met you in college or you an old-time friend or something like that, they're looking for certain type of women. And that's it. So I don't understand why we're all sitting around acting like, oh, I got to have a 6-figure man. There's not enough 6-figure men. The percentage of 6-figure men is 11% of African-American men make 6 figures or more. But every time you go into a room, all the motherfuckers make six figures. Somebody's lying. Every room can't have that. So we're never talking about the other guy. We're never talking about pulling the resources together. And that doesn't mean, because I'm not really a 50-50 person, but even when you pull the resources together, that doesn't mean 50-50, because someone can still take care of the household. You can take care of other little things like cable and different stuff. And like I said, if you have 2 cars, you can have a nice car and one that's good on gas when y'all hit the road with that. Most guys are scared to move one because of child support. New girl, homeless now. Okay, hold on. Bad support system, so they are checking out. I get it. Child support, but see, comes back to what I talked about a while ago. Women and men. I keep saying, like, when we try to act, it's like acting, about eggs and different stuff. Because the thing about it, whose fault is it that we have all these kids unwedlock, kids where people are not married? Is it the woman or the man's fault? Because the man, he needs to wrap his shit up. The woman, she can take her birth control, or she can control her destiny too. I mean, we really got to start laying it where it is. We have to be more responsible, because the thing about child support, if you don't want to be in that loop, then you got to be careful about having all these kids without being married. Not to say that when you're not married, you don't go on child support, but I think it's different. What happens is when you're married, you already knew about the children, and there's a support thing standard already started. So it gets looped into the divorce, and I understand that, but it's just a little bit, the dynamics are a little bit different. Because when you're dealing when 2 people are not married in child support, way different. A lot more stuff to deal with when you go into court. A lot more things to deal with. It's visitation. It's how much money. Then they got you on, how the what is it called, I think inflation raise or income raise or some other stuff that happens every 2 years. I mean, it's just an attack into your privacy. So the reason that I say that too, I feel like it makes it harder to date, because now you have your child support, then you have your bills, and then you also, it costs money to date. But here's the thing about it. You can't slack on your child support either, because you do have an obligation. And technically, child support is not enough to raise a child. It really is not. So then what do you do? At that point, how much do you owe the child or the mother? And here is the other thing I'm going to say. The men are not going to like this, but like I said, I'm going to do a whole show on child support. But here's my stance on this. You do understand the well-being of the mother has a lot to do with the way your child is raised. So if she can't make her rent and they hopping around, what are you going to do? Unless you're going to take the child too. But the thing is, I still find a problem with a father living in this real nice apartment and the child and the mother living in this real disgusting apartment. Does the child have cable? I have an issue. Like if they had cable when you were there, they should have cable when they're not. But some people's attitude is, well, we're not together, so I'm not responsible for the cable. You may not be responsible for the cable, but the child is still living there without cable. I mean, you got to understand that plays on the psyche of the child too. But then also now she's trying to go fuck for cable. Like, I'm just saying, this is why you got to be careful who you get involved with. The man in the system. When you're a kid having kids, you don't think of down the road. You're correct. When you have these broken homes or missing men to keep it real, challenging men to want and do better. You're correct. Then send the child to the father. I would love to. Like, I mean, sometimes I would say that, but here's the thing. A lot of fathers don't want to raise their kids with the full responsibility of it. And then a lot of mothers are not going to give up their child. Because there is statistics showing there's a problem when mothers are not in children. There's more of a problem with children getting older when they don't have their mother around versus not having the father around. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole show on this so we can get into this. But that just has to deal with mental health. So like I said, all of these challenges. Plus, I feel like this. The reason, like, because you have to notice that when I was talking about the Instagram, he killed the mother and he went to kill himself and left the baby alive. Why did he just kill himself? Because a lot of this shit has to do with the mother dating. This is why these men are killing the girlfriends, the baby mothers, and some of them are killing the kids, but some of them, a lot of them are leaving the kids alive. They're like, oh, come get my kid. But they're killing the girlfriend because a lot of the depression and the final straws have to deal with the relationship. If she's asking for money, if she wants to be around, or if they're not, or he wants to be with her, she don't want to be with him anymore. It's serious out here. Hold on. Nah, I'm not with that. Take care of the kid of the kids, but not taking care of a person. I'm not with. I'm having you still. I have to still rebuild. I know you got to rebuild, but this is what I want you to think about. It's to next week's show. You have to rebuild, but the mentalness of your baby mother that's raising that child has everything to do with your child. She's raising your son. You want to know why some of these people are some of these men are unstable and fucked up? Because mothers treating their sons certain ways too, and kids. So I get you feel like it's not your responsibility, but how fucked up do you want your child to be? You have to really think about this because these situations are getting bad. And courts are not they don't just take kids away from their mother. And that's the truth. So what do we do? I'm sorry, I missed that other comment, but let's read this one first. If the woman is behind the breakup, it's not up to the father to maintain her lifestyle. You're correct. I didn't say that the father should, if that's the truth. Oh, yeah, facts. You're right. But let's be honest. How many times are the women behind the breakup?
Wild thoughts. Can I make a comment?
Oh, please. I'm babbling today by myself because I'm just so concerned about this. But go ahead, Al, please.
So here's the thing that I'm not understanding.
Okay.
Men and women get together. They do what they do. They have a child or they have children. They decide that their relationship does not work out. So now there's this hatred towards each other. I'm not understanding how do you lay down with someone and they're good enough to lay down with and make a child, and then later on in life you have no respect for them, or you feel like their life isn't worthy anymore. For me, here's the thing: if the mother's destitute or the mother's going through something, it affects the child. If I want to have a healthy child and I want my child to be a productive citizen of society, I'm going to do whatever I have to do for both my child and his mother, regardless, okay? Because that also shows my integrity, my character, and my beliefs, my values, my principles, and what I will stand for and what I will not stand for. So it comes a time where we as men who are put here on this earth to cover our families are no longer covering our families because you're with somebody else that has an opinion, okay? But here's the thing. Once you bring a child into this world and you with somebody else and they understand that's your child, they don't make decisions for how you raise your child. Either they with you and love you for who you are and going to support you, or they got to keep stepping. And that's why our men and our children are in so much turmoil now, because somebody from the outside is always coming in trying to teach us or tell us how we should raise our young men and our young women. And it's not right, it's not fair. That's why in the black community, we have so many dysfunctional families.
Correct. Thank you, Al. So you understood where I was coming from when I was saying just take a step back and think about what it is. I'm not saying you have to pay all her bills and stuff, but you have to still take a look and think. Because then when you're saying let's just say your support is $100 a week. So here's the $200, and then you calling the mother a bitch, and she's like, hey, I need more money for this, and you like, fuck you, and all of this. This is insane. Like you say. So do you think that's the environment that's good for your child? Because now all she's doing in the house is saying your father ain't shit.
Right.
He don't do this. And when the child is asking for something, well, you don't have that because your father didn't provide it.
Right.
Like we're not thinking about that child that's sitting there. And I understand the pressure on the man, but at the same time, this is also why our youth depression has gone up. Not only has men, but our depression and suicide rate for our children, black children, have gone up. And we're not used to going to therapy. That's a new concept for us. So it's really fucking us up, and we're not paying attention.
Right.
Then you get the promiscuous girls because they're looking for attention. Because all they get attention.
Because again, the father, the covering, the man in their life who they're supposed to love and look up to is not there, as they're not supportive, right? And they're doing all type of crazy stuff. So here's the thing. As an adult, as a parent, right? If you are disrespectful to your child's mother, or the mother's disrespectful to the child's father, who does the child respect when they become of age?
This is the problem.
Exactly.
Here lays the problem. Not only that, but when you do that, as the males that we're raising, we're having an issue with how they respect women. You got to understand, they're seeing now how father and mother interact. Also, the girls are seeing this is the things that mom does to get bills paid now. She's going on dates. She does this. And I'm going to tell you a little example that I always say to some of my ladies that gives a quick example. Facts. Thank you. Facts. Here's the thing. I always tell women, I really despise when they do this. Let's just say that they're supposed to cook dinner. So mom sporadically cooks dinner any other time. She's like, oh, I order Chinese. I cook sometimes, whatever. She meets a man. The kids see that she's dating this man, introduces the man. He comes in there. He likes his dinner at 7 o'clock. All of a sudden, you have two little girls that watch any other time. When it comes to them, you fed them anytime you felt like it. But then now this man comes in. He says he wants his dinner at 7. You cooking dinner at 7 o'clock.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. Derek's coming over, so y'all know y'all got to go to bed at 10 o'clock, and he likes his dinner at 7, so we got to eat. You know what you just taught your little girls? Oh, so Dick comes in the picture. You don't treat children right, but you do everything for a man, and this is the thing. And you're wondering why they're running out and doing all this stuff.
Exactly.
Like, this is crazy.
You're sending the wrong message. You're
Correct.
not being a responsible parent, and you're teaching them habits that they're going to grow into and wonder why they can't have a relationship that lasts.
Correct. Hold on, let's read this.
I read that. They're not going to have
thanks.
any respect for the person they're with because they never seen that in their household. They also would think that's what they're supposed to look for. You're absolutely right, Ms. Purdy.
Yep. And this is why I'm saying, and then now this is, and here's how we're going to tie it together to what I'm talking about, why I'm so upset about this. Now we have these daughters growing up to be grown women, along with all the music and everything else that's out there. Then you got these men dealing with them, and then we have these problems where, again, now we're suited to make the father of the child, not who the father is, but who can best pay for the child. So we're pretending kids belong to certain men. They find out they're mentally fucked up, depression setting in, and I'm telling you right now, the way we are dating is the reason why you have more men killing their baby moms. Because when you're looking at the statistics, most of them are not wives. Most of them is my girlfriend, my baby mom.
Right, exactly.
It is not wives that are getting killed. It's baby moms and girlfriends that are getting killed in the Black community right now on the rise of the suicide killings. And then he kills himself.
So there's been a standard that has been set in our community that they're expendable when it comes to these young women who are baby mamas, as they say. You know, still there's somebody's daughter, there's somebody's mother. How do we lose a respect for the birthplace in which we come from?
Correct. You got this one, Al? You gonna read it or you want me to read
This
it?
is the problem with having children by different men. Tyrone Green said, I will help with the necessary, not cable and hairdos. When they take the money, child support, and don't spread it properly, it's not the kid, it's the situation. And at that point, the kid, it's not that the love is gone, but the situation has changed. We are saying what the woman is going through, but we have forgotten the man again. And I kind of agree with Tyrone on that a little bit, but here's the problem. If a woman is struggling, right, and she has your child, okay, and there's certain needs in that household, it is up to you as the covering for that family that you make sure that they have what they need so that they can survive. Because once you have a child, remember, your life is no longer yours. It's really about that child. And you do whatever you have to do and make the sacrifices that you have to make sure that your child can be in the right place and be purposed in life for what they were designed to be purposed for.
And Tyrone, here's my pushback on that a little bit, because here's the thing. You don't have, there's so many, look at the society that we live in. There's so many ways to give money. You don't have to give the money directly. You can pay whatever your child support is, but you can literally have the cable bill sent to you. You can literally have your child, if there's no phone in the house, buy a phone for your child. Like, you can pay that bill. You don't have to, that's for you. So you can communicate with your child. They can have something to watch. Because at the end of the day, when the mother's at work all day or whatever the hell she's doing, you really want your child in the house with no cable, no TV? This is how they get in trouble. Like, then pay for the dance class. You can pay for that directly to the school. You don't have to give her the money. But you got to remember, when she's out there trying to get money from men or out there sleeping with other men, that's your child that's in the house by himself or herself.
Exactly.
So you got to think about, well, damn, they should not be in the house with no cable. Because at the same time, you may do it. I'm sorry, let me just say this, because you may do it, but there's a lot of fathers that will not go pick up their child every day either. Because they say, oh, I got a date. I got stuff to do. So what the hell is the child supposed to do? Come on, guys. We got to meet halfway. Go ahead.
Right. The child is left to their own devices once again. The kids aren't used to having a man in the house, but this is what most men want in their household, right? What is he doing? How is cable? What he has to do for money? Now, this is leading to what you started the show with. We lost the respect when they started using kids as a hustle.
Cable has to do. Here's the thing. Listen to this. You wouldn't be in your house without this basic needs right now, because cable to me, honestly, is a basic need. Because I don't know about school with you guys, because like I have a teenager, and in school you need cable in your house. You need internet. Okay, let's just say internet. There is no way you can go to school nowadays without internet. Not out here, because these kids, teachers send them home with internet homework. You need it. You need to watch shows on TV. They'll literally tell you to watch a documentary on Netflix. It's like, who the hell doesn't have Netflix? Like, literally, schools, teachers don't think, oh, nobody doesn't have it. Internet is a necessity for a child to have. And my thing is,
let's read some of these comments because they're coming in pretty fast. All right, let me read them through. All right. People are getting pregnant just to get house and child support in more than most jobs. So true, Facebook user says. Nah, in the hood, women runs it all. Ms. Purdy said it makes even worse when the boy-girl goes out and get into a relationship like that and the parents get mad. How can you get mad and call them all types of names if they don't know what respect or love is? Hey, Wild Thoughts, thanks for the gift. That's from Red. Hey, Big Red, how you doing?
Hey.
It's so sad that the kids are in the middle. Devon said it also depends on what the man's situation as far as his bills and livelihood. And I get that too, Devon, but still, like I said, we as men are supposed to cover our families. Okay. Those children did not ask to be here. Okay. So we have a responsibility. The moment we decide to lay down with a woman unprotected, we know what the consequences are. Okay. And if you're willing to take that chance, then you got to be willing to go the whole 10 yards. All right. Don't just say, oh, I was just horny that night. No, not at all. That's an excuse that we've been using for too long. We have to
Correct.
stand up and start putting our communities back in order. And the only way to do that is for men to start taking accountability for their actions. Stop being so quick to go lay down with these women. If they think this woman is about just getting a child support check, spend some time with her. Get to know her, okay? Find out some of her background. Get to know what her family background is like before you want to lay down with somebody.
And also, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna do a part 2. Like next week, I'm gonna get a couple of people in here, a couple more. Some people who have child support, some people who are paying it. I think we should get deeper into it. But here's the other statement I'm gonna say about that too. With that being said, if you're very concerned, then let me see you petition the court for custody. So let's put the shoe on the other foot. Take her for child support and let me see you raise the baby. Let me see you or do joint where you have the baby 5 days a week and let her have the weekends. Because at the same time, the same man that doesn't want to pay, let me see you go ahead and step in and say, you know what? I don't want to pay that type of money. So if you feel like that type of money is coming out of your pocket and being wasted, then take the child during the week, Monday through Friday. Because I don't see a lot of that. Because they're like, oh no, I got to work. I don't have the money for the babysitter. All the other issues that she's having now becomes your issues. And let's put the shoe on the other foot and let's see how that goes. Because you don't see that because they don't got time.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what Wild Thoughts is rare. I have 2 male cousins.
Okay.
Actually, they're twins. And they raised they both had two. One has 2 and the other one had 3 children.
Wow.
And they both raised their children by themselves, okay?
And it's hard, right?
Because not a lot of men will do that.
And it's hard, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy for them. Now,
babysitters, going to work, making sure they eat,
let me ask you a question.
Mother and playing both mother and father roles.
And let me ask you a question. How easy is it for them to date?
It wasn't.
This is what I'm saying.
It wasn't.
And this is where we're gonna pick up next week. How easy? Because this is the thing. Because it seems like we also forget that part. That's part of the mental health too. Because at the same time, when you have the majority of the child, they still, just like how you have a life and you want to get on and you want to meet a new girlfriend and all that stuff, they want to meet a new, it's not an easy thing. So this is another reason the thing has gone haywire. I'm going to just reiterate when I first came in, what I was talking about was, because I know we're getting out of here, it's 10:03. I'm going to do a part 2 to this next week. We're going to get into the child support and all of that like deeper. So what this was about was I saw something on Instagram where the guy came on live and he basically killed his baby mother and he was killing himself, but he just wanted to make sure his son was picked up before he killed himself. And then I started looking up the statistics for male suicide this way. It's on the rise. And again, they're not killing wives, they're killing girlfriends and baby moms. And we just really need to examine what the hell is going on in the pressures of being a man and these situations, because it seems to be around relationships. That's why I was talking about it. So I want to do part 2 next week and get some more people in here talking about how they deal with child support, how it affects them, and all those things. But thank you, Al, for speaking, because what you said was
let me
a
read
lot.
the rest of these comments before we go off.
Okay, yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Jamel says hi. Facebook user says yeah. Devon says true. Gatekeeper said, once you get the support system involved, you got to do the right things, ladies. Vocals by Jamel says true. Gatekeeper said a lot of men do, and they are killed for a lot of men do, and they are killed for be stay-at-home dads, and they are less of a man. He also says, I have many male friends that are doing it now.
Excellent.
Red says, I have male cousins who were single dads raising their children on their own. And she says, too.
Red, I can't wait to hear next week for you. Tell me, because you asked them how it is dating. Please let me know next week so we can talk about that, because I'm very curious how it is for them dating, raising kids.
Yeah. Gatekeeper says, women kill men for asking for child support and taking the kid. Great show today. Great show. I'll be on earlier next week. Great topic. That's from Red.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, please, because I want to hear about that, because I do want to, because we don't talk about the difficulties of it, and so I want to hear it on the other side. So I will see all of y'all next week. Let's do part 2 of this. I'm glad we got a chance, because, you know, I love when we get to play around, but this is something I heard that I really just felt like we need to just talk about, and I really want to hear what everyone has to say, because it's getting wild out there. So love all y'all. See you next week, part 2. I'm going to bring some other people on. Thank you so much, Al. I appreciate you and loved your comments.
You're welcome.
We got everybody?
Up in the river, sip it up. Your necessary, I back it up. Make your hips swing, lean and up. Till you lose your head, then you join the walk. Heard ya, girls here get it in. Till your phone start ring, ding, 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 ding. And I be my way to him. Zim, my boyfriend, killer, oh yeah. Shim, I got the night simmering. Him see me in a style, I never see you in. Beep, we on the way.